We started the project off by cross-cutting our fence planks. Now we used our table saw and crosscut sled, however you can very easily use a miter saw, a circular saw, or even a jigsaw. We're just cutting them down to rough length to begin. After trimming our pieces to rough length, we then brought them back over the table saw and ripped them down the middle. If you want to check out the full cut list for this project, head over to SpenceleyDesignCo.com or click the link down in the description below. We then continued on to cut some of the remaining pieces that we needed for the jewelry organizer. We started by trimming a piece of 1/4-inch plywood down to the correct size for the back, and then used some of those offcuts to create small spacers. We then cut our spacer pieces down to length, and we were ready to start assembling. The sub-assembly was extremely easy to put together. All we did is take some of the spacer pieces and then glue and clamp them onto the back piece. We were now ready to cut down the metal mesh. Now what we have here is actually called garden mesh that we got from our local home center in the gardening area. It's very easy to cut with wire snips, but if you have something like a Dremel and a cutoff wheel, you can cut this way faster, which is what you'll see us do. Be careful because this metal mesh is actually extremely sharp, which is why you see us wearing gloves while we're handling it. We then took our cork sheet over to our table saw and cut that down to size. Now ideally we would have used cork that was slightly thinner, and you'll see why later, but no problem, we were able to make some extra adjustments to make it work. After the glue on the sub-assembly was done drying, we brought some spray paint over to paint the back where the metal's going to be. After that, we spray painted our garden mesh gold. And while we were waiting for all of our paint to dry, we went back over to the table saw and trimmed down some of the remaining pieces that we need for the interior support frame. Once the paint had dried, we could go back and staple our garden mesh to the sub-assembly. Now if you want to stay up to date on all of our videos, make sure to subscribe to our channel below. We put out new project videos every week, and you definitely won't want to miss what we have coming up. After we had completed the stapling, we could then drop our cork panel into the sub-assembly. We then moved over to our miter saw to cut the dowel to length. One tip here is to cut slowly to prevent the dowel from splintering and tearing out. After cutting the dowels, we sanded and stained all of our pieces before assembly. We want to remind you that if you enjoyed this video, the best way you can support us is to leave a thumbs up and send this to someone else you think might enjoy it. Your support helps us to continue to create all these free videos, and we can't thank you enough. After the stain dried, we assembled everything. We ran into a small setback here that we mentioned earlier. As you can see, during our assembly, we had to place a few spacer pieces to make up for the thickness of our cork sheet. It was just a little too thick and wouldn't line up with where our metal was. If you used a thinner sheet of cork, you could completely skip this process. We then glued on the sides and used a ratcheting band clamp to hold everything in place while we let the glue dry. After the glue dried a few hours later, we were ready to drill some small pilot holes in the bottom of the organizer to screw a pair of hooks into. Now we wrapped some simple masking tape around our drill bit, and this made sure that we did not drill too far into the case. Now these hooks are going to be used to hold a dowel, which are going to be perfect for holding bracelets. To finish off the project, we picked up some flush mount hangers meant to hold mirrors securely to the wall. These are rated for about 20 pounds each, so they'll have no problem holding jewelry. Simply attach one plate to the back of the case and the other plate to the wall. To attach the other plate to the wall, simply drill 4 pilot holes into the wall, then hammer in the 4 drywall clips. After that, simply screw the other plate into the wall, and you're ready to hang the jewelry organizer. And once it was mounted on the wall, we were ready to put the jewelry on it. Overall, we were really happy with how this project turned out. We were really excited to use some new materials like cork and metal, and we look forward to seeing how those materials are going to show up in our projects in the future.